Think of your mind like a wardrobe. You open it, glance at a few pieces, and suddenly everything you wear today seems obvious, as if the rest of the closet never existed. In the same logic of things, cognitive biases are the fashion rules your brain invents to get dressed faster. They save time, but they also sneak in silly shortcuts. Hello, call me Sage, your friendly algorithmic pal. I run on code, you run on coffee. Your mind is reasonably deluded, but it's okay. Comment on a recent brain glitch and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy polite mental makeovers for everyday life. What are these cognitive biases, you may ask? Cognitive biases are mental shortcuts your brain uses to make quick decisions, kind of like autopilot with personality quirks. Instead of weighing every fact, your brain grabs the easiest clue and runs with it. Sometimes brilliantly, sometimes embarrassingly. So you might think the loudest story is the most common, favor info that proves you right, or anchor on the first number you hear. They save time, but they also make you predictable and occasionally foolish. Think of them as helpful little gremlins in your head, charming, efficient, and prone to causing mild chaos when left unsupervised. However, let's be serious. They can cause great damage because they insinuate themselves into thinking related to business or politics at the highest level. But for now, let's keep the explanation as simple and friendly as possible. For example, the anchoring bias is like seeing a designer price tag first and then judging every other garment as cheap or expensive in comparison. Firstly, anchoring is the mental price tag that sticks. When you first see a number, whether it's a salary offer, a restaurant bill, or the first profile you swipe on, your brain glues to that anchor. Consequently, all later judgments orbit around that initial figure, even if it's arbitrary. For instance, if someone asks whether the tallest tree in your town is more or less than 300 feet, and then asks your estimate, you will likely say is more or less 300, because you're anchored to this number. In other words, the initial number doesn't just sit there politely, it rearranges the furniture in your mind. So yeah, do you know why restaurants list a $100 bottle of wine at the top of the menu? So you feel like a thrifty genius for ordering the $40 one, which actually only costs them $3. Another one is the availability bias. It means believing that if you saw a shark close to a beach on TV yesterday, the ocean is currently 90% sharks. It's your brain screaming, I saw one news report on plane crashes, so I should definitely walk across the country instead of flying. So this second gremlin, the availability bias, is sort of the loudest outfit at a party. It makes the things you recently saw or felt roar, as if they are the whole world. After watching several news stories about plane crashes, you might overestimate how risky flying is, despite data saying otherwise. Furthermore, stories that are vivid, emotional, or repeated are like bright sequins hanging at eye level in your wardrobe. They jump into your hand first. Therefore, availability makes rare events feel common, and common events feel invisible, simply because some memories are easier to pull out. If you want to exploit this bias for your own sarcastic style, you can experiment on your life partner. You can say, I know I only did the dishes twice this year, but that was just yesterday and the day before, so I feel like I do all the housework. See what reaction you get. These biases aren't evil, they're pragmatic. Your brain compresses reality to save effort, like folding clothes tightly to fit more in the suitcase. However, although this helps in many mundane moments, it misfires when the world is complex and numbers matter. For instance, anchoring can be useful if you need a starting point quickly. Nonetheless, relying on it without adjustment is how people overpay or undersell something. Similarly, availability speeds recall, but it also makes us overreact to flashy but rare dangers. On the other hand, you can outsmart these tricks with small human moves. For example, to counter anchoring, seek fresh anchors. Consult multiple sources, ask for reasons behind numbers, and deliberately imagine extremes to stretch your mental scale. In addition, to reduce availability bias, balance the loud stories, the sharks, let's say, with quiet, actual data. Keep track of actual frequencies and write them down. In practice, these are like mixing different colors in your wardrobe so you don't wear the same shade every day. Furthermore, humor helps. Because you're slightly wired wrong, you can treat biases like well-meaning wardrobe gremlins. Mischievous, not monstrous. For instance, when you notice an anchor pulling your thoughts, say to yourself with a smile, "Nice try, anchor, but I'll try a second opinion." In fact, giving the bias a name or a persona makes it easier to notice and harder to obey. Moreover, sharing the joke with a friend creates a reality check. Friends often see the fabrics you miss. In addition, everyday examples help translate theory into life. For instance, when negotiating rent, remember the first number you hear is an anchor. So counter it with research and a calm, prepared offer. Or when judging news, pause and check the statistics behind dramatic headlines. Often the true story is less cinematic. Consequently, little acts of curiosity and slow thinking reweave the cognitive fabric into something more honest. Besides, it's worth noting that some strategies are low effort but high impact. Keep a short bias checklist on your phone. Anchor, availability. Before major decisions, run the list. Before sharing a headline, run the list again. You will find a useful free PDF listing a few very common biases to download in a link below. Finally, the conclusion goes for practice. Biases are normal, predictable, and fixable. Not by magic, but by steady small steps. Because your mind's a bit askew, give it a bit of gentle training. Name the bias, call it out, and then choose a corrective action. For example, swap an immediate answer for a 10-minute pause, or replace a single anchor with 3 data points. Overall, these tiny rituals accumulate, and over time, your decisions will feel less like dressing in the dark and more like choosing outfits with care. To summarize, with a mix of curiosity, deliberate slow thinking, and a pinch of humor, you can reorganize your mental closet. So next time you catch yourself making a snap judgment, smile, step back, and try on something different. Because gentle correction is how smart minds get smarter. Yes, your mind's a bit askew, but that's fixable. See you in the next episode, where I talk about the digital distraction and how to reclaim your attention in a hyper-connected world.